Comic Talk. Welcome to Comic Talk. I'm the Cube, and here I have Alyssa.
Hi.
So here I have Alyssa joining me, talking about Dead Man and the Abandoned Mansion, or whatever, part 2. Let me get that for you guys so you don't make me sound like an asshole. Dead Man, Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love. So it was written by Vaughn, art by Medina and Hester, cover by Villarrubia. So for those of you who didn't read the first issue, it's all about this character named Deadman, Boston Brand, originally trapeze artist, shot in the middle of his act, became a deadman. But he wasn't sent to heaven or hell. He accidentally got stuck somewhere in the middle, and now he kind of does his own thing in the limbo, spirit, purgatory, you know? Depends. So he basically is following this woman named Bernice around, who can see him because she has kind of like a zen that allows her to like see ghosts, like, you know what I mean? Like she has like kind of like a little bit of like a psychic thing. And what ends up happening is in the first issue, Bernice and her husband Nathan move into this abandoned mansion so Nathan can finish writing his book. Bernice does not want to move in because she knows she has the powers to see ghosts, and she doesn't want to have to deal with any ghosts that may be living in the mansion.
That's for damn sure.
So Bernice, what ends up happening is Boston follows her in, and we meet the ghost Adelia, who basically lived in the attic. And her and Boston, in the beginning of this issue, basically get sucked into this dark void that is somewhere in between the mansion. So it starts with Boston basically going into Adelia's head and kind of helping her, helping her get her memories back. So that's one of the things he's kind of learned in his afterlife. He's learned how to like do that. So like it almost looks like they're kissing, but then he goes into her face, a little like snogging. So we get a couple of flashbacks of her life, a painting of her by someone, maybe her husband. We see her getting married, we see her moving into her house, and then we see her getting murdered. And now, one of the things that I noticed, okay, so like this is like, if we look at the 4 flashbacks, this is definitely like the color makes sense here. The color makes sense here, you know, at church the color makes sense here, outside on a gloomy day. This one, all red candles, red all that stuff. So I'm thinking maybe this is a room in the house that she was murdered in.
Oh, maybe like a red room?
Yeah, like a red room. Murder. So what ends up happening is she like kind of like deals with the thought of her being murdered, and she's not sad about it. She's angry that she didn't get to live a full life, angry that her memories were taken from her, and she's been stuck in the mansion for so long. So Deadman decides, you know, which anyone would, exactly. So what Deadman just decides to do is like, all right, now that I've helped you, let's try to get out of here. Like, you know, let's go try to find Bernice, and maybe we can like try to figure this out together. So they leave the dark void after, like, I guess as Deadman phrases it, Bernice is the key to get them out of the dark void, and together they leave it. And when they get out of it, Adelia is the way out of the dark void, and Bernice is the girl that can see them. So they get out of the dark void, and Bernice has been in the mansion for a few days, going through Adelia's things, kind of figuring out who Adelia was as a person. We see that she was married to someone named Edward. I think that was his name. Let's see. Edward Ruskin. And Adelia has a very good taste in poetry. You plan to send the ring with your hair to your mother, but I guess you didn't have a chance to. Basically, Bernice is saying that like she planned to do a couple of things before she died, and Adelia didn't get the chance because she died.
She's kind of giving her backstory.
Yeah, backstory to her own life and her own death. So what ends up happening is a ring, like a golden ring, shoots out, knocking Deadman and Adelia unconscious. Which is funny because in the immediate next scene, Nathan walks into the room and sees papers tossed everywhere, and then Bernice like is trying to conversate with him, and she turns around and sees Deadman and Adelia on the floor, which Nathan can't see. So it's a little funny. It's just a little funny like to picture that from Nathan and her perspective. So what ends up happening is Nathan like just kind of tells her, "Hey, I'm almost done with the book. You know, I'm gonna get it done soon." And Bernice is like, "Oh, that's cool. Go back to writing, and we'll go back to writing so I can finish this ghost busting." So what ends up happening is Bernice goes back to her room, and Deadman and Adelia can't walk inside. It has some sort of crazy barrier blocking them from going in, like a crypt. And what ends up happening is the same thing happens for when they try to go outside as well. Bernice leaves to go and find more information on Adelia in the small town that's nearby. And basically what she ends up finding out is that Adelia lived in the house with her husband, and then when she was killed, her husband like immediately basically stole the mansion and left because the house reminded him too much of his beautiful wife. Now we don't know if that means he killed her or whatever. We just know that she was, but we know for sure she was killed. We just don't know by who or what it means. We find out that the mansion traded many hands in between then and now. So what ends up happening is after that, Bernice goes to her friend Sam's magic shop, I'm assuming.
I think it's like
I think it's an antique shop.
Yeah.
It's an antique shop. So what ends up happening is, if you guys didn't read the first issue, Sam has kind of a thing for Bernice despite already kind of being engaged and all that. Well, she's about to be.
Oh, yeah, bro.
So what ends up happening is Sam basically has a thing for her, even though she's kind of in a committed relationship with Nathan. And what ends up happening is Sam gives her a gift of like this broken bowl, and it makes her cry. And they decide to hug, but when they end up hugging, she sees like a vision of her kissing Sam. Now, what I want to assume is that with the ring on her finger, because she's still wearing the ring that Adelia had, is that she's seeing herself cheat, because maybe that's what Adelia did. Or maybe she's seeing herself cheat because that's what Adelia's husband did. Like, we're seeing a memory of Adelia.
And she's just seeing it through her own eyes.
Yeah, just seeing it through her own eyes, and that's why that's happening. So what ends up happening is she decides to leave, but Sam decides to take her home because she might be able to help in some way. I don't know what Sam can contribute if he doesn't know anything about ghosts or magic. But when they get back, Nathan says he's finished his book, and he decides to ask Bernice to marry her. And what ends up happening is the minute he slides the ring on her finger, Adelia transforms into a hellish darkness monster. And when she transforms, she starts attacking each of them, knocking Deadman away and kind of like sending everything in the room skittering, like literal exorcist status, poltergeist levels of like ghostery. And Nathan gets knocked out, and Bernice is literally like having a trance almost, watching Adelia become this monster. And then the comic ends with Adelia having another memory of somebody speaking a foreign language to her and handing her a book. And then she transforms into the monster and starts attacking Nathan. So I want to assume that maybe she knows Nathan is cheating, or maybe she was cheating in her lifetime and she's passing that hate or whatever that is onto the next person, who could be Nathan, or maybe it's Bernice, we don't know. Yeah. So I like it because I really like Deadman. If it was any other character, I probably wouldn't be enjoying this as much. I'm kind of a sucker for Deadman stuff. So I really enjoyed this comic, art, writing, and all. So that was me. What did you think?
I think it was overall pretty good, but I think that Amelia is probably
Adelia,
excuse me, is attacking Nathan because Nathan's cheating. Maybe her husband did. Maybe that's why she's attacking him. Specifically.
Yeah, but like the thing is, if Nathan's always been in his study writing the book, maybe it's something else. But we don't know.
We don't know.
But so that's as far as we know. But I think it was a pretty good issue, Alyssa. You think?
I think it was overall very well.
All right. So that was us. So I think that was Deadman and the Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love. I'm the Cube. This is with Alyssa, and we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.